to Strategy in Small Doses. I am so excited to be here today because it is my first ever interview with a guest expert. You know, up until now, these episodes have all been solo episodes, but there's so many amazing experts out there in the other industries. And just even if they're in the same industry, I just wanted to start bringing other experts on to share their information, their knowledge, their experiences, stories, etc. Everything, whatever they want to share with you, I wanted to bring them on. And I am so excited today because I have Kris Hughes with me today from Untitled Ventures. And I met Kris on LinkedIn. And I talk all the time about the power of social media, the power of connection, having conversations. And that's exactly how Kris and I met. I couldn't know how we connected on LinkedIn, but at some point somebody commented or he posted something that caught my attention. And it's been probably at least 6 or 8 months now that we've been connected and just sharing back and forth. And it's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you. So Kris, I'm going to pass the mic over to you. Tell us a little bit more about you, who you are, how you started your business, and anything else you think is worth sharing.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, it's LinkedIn is so powerful in that way. I think there's no other platform like it, in my opinion. So we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, I've been a content guy for a long time. Started my own sports blogs back in 2010. You know, I got a master's degree in sports management. I worked in the pro sports world for a while. Was convinced I was going to do that. Did it for a bit and didn't like it. So I went back and leaned on my writing and built out some blogs and sold those to another network and ended up working for a large digital publisher here in Austin as a content operations director in a startup kind of environment for 4 years. Worked in the traditional SaaS content marketing world for a little bit, didn't really care for that, and just really decided it was time to build something for myself. Got laid off from a job just prior to COVID and in January of 20, and that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back moment for me, where I really just decided to lean in and do something for myself. So took on a few contracts and at the same time started thinking about how I can really build a business where I can be a solopreneur. And that's what Untitled Ventures is. So we're based in Austin, Texas. Work with content strategy and ghostwriting projects. So I have a few LinkedIn clients. Take on their personality, do everything for them, comment as them, write as them, create content, help them get on podcasts and live streams like this, as email marketing outreach. And I have a few blogging, ghostwriting clients as well in different industries, primarily in e-commerce, because I've written a lot on that in the past. So yeah, just a variety of things. And it's been fun so far. Just kind of hit my year and a few days anniversary of being on LinkedIn and really being full on in business. So it's a good milestone.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. I love actually hearing so many amazing success stories that have come, like, not because of COVID, but maybe in lieu of COVID. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So many people,
Sure.
like, it just forced everybody to kind of level up, to kind of step into a place. We didn't have a choice, right? Like, we had to step into that discomfort because there really was no other choice, where before we've always had those comfort zones, those safety nets to catch us. And with COVID, you didn't have it. You know, if you lost your job, and you just had to step up. And it's been absolutely amazing to see what has come out of that. But
absolutely.
Yeah, it's incredible. So congrats on that. Congrats on
Thanks.
your 1 year. That's amazing. That's an incredible milestone. So, all right. So let's dive in. What is one tip that you could share based for business, professional, personal growth related to your business or industry, whether it's from your own experience, what you're seeing with your clients, anything? What would that tip be for solopreneurs?
Yeah, I think consistency is very valuable in building your business and all things you do, especially in brand building and content creation. And you'll hear that preached all the time. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. But the other side of that a lot of people leave out is relationship building. So I think that marriage of consistency and relationship building is very important, because yeah, you can create content all day long and be consistent about it. But if you're not building relationships to pull people in and create a community, it doesn't matter. You'll only get so much engagement. You only get so much out of that work that you put in. So I really value the relationship building aspect, and it's very intentional for me. My content strategy is intentional. My brand building strategy is intentional. I'm just as intentional about how I build relationships and how I reach out to people and kind of foster good collaborative relationships, working relationships, even starting to develop some referral type relationships where, have a couple that are actually formalized now, where we're, I have people that I'm sending leads to and vice versa, or sending referrals to and vice versa. And yeah, I think that's an important step, is really leveraging relationship building.
Yeah, dive a little bit deeper into that if you don't mind. With when you say relationship building, I know for me, like do you mean just having conversations outside of your content? So you say like you have your content is obviously really, really powerful. And I know a lot of people I call it hiding behind the keyboard, right? Because it's easy to hide behind your keyboard and type and put content out all the time. But
Right.
how much do you actually know about the person behind the keyboard, right? So how do you go about actually, like when you say relationship building, how do
Mm-hmm.
you do that? What do you do to build those relationships?
Yeah, I think there's two sides of the coin here. One is being transparent in your own content and being willing to let people kind of behind the curtain every now and then share something personal, whether it's a struggle, a success, like a small victory, something about your personal story. Not something crazy. It doesn't have to be off the wall. And I see that sometimes. And there's a balance here to strike. So, but let people see who you are, be transparent about that, but also be really intentional about taking connections, especially like on LinkedIn, to the next level. So my process is, somebody follows me, my content on LinkedIn, I follow them back, and then I reach out and say, thank you for following my content. I appreciate that. I don't feel like people show gratitude enough for this, for following, or for getting new followers, or for having people interact. So if you're open to connecting, that's great. Let's connect. 8 times out of 10, when you send a personalized note like that includes some gratitude, people are going to connect. So I then thank people for connecting and kind of back off for a couple of days, and then I'll send a voice note and say, it's been great to check out your content. I appreciate your connection. Would you be open to just chatting for 30 minutes sometime? See if we have the opportunity. Maybe if there's some synergy there for us to do some work together, or develop like a referral relationship, or whatever it may be. I drop my Calendly link there. I've got 4 of those types of calls this week. So, and that comes through the native voice message on LinkedIn. There's an option in LinkedIn, once you're connected to somebody, you can leave a voice message straight within the app. And I think it's heavily underutilized, because I know when I get them, it really pulls my attention, and because it happens so rarely. And a lot of people tell me, wow, it's the first one of those I've ever gotten. So it's just finding like those small little differentiation points. And I think that that's one that can make a big difference.
Yeah, I love that you actually mentioned about gratitude, right? Like, hey, I just want to give gratitude for following me. It's a key piece there, because it's true. I mean, we take sometimes like all of our followers for granted, or so many people just view it as like a game of numbers, right? Where you're
Yeah.
actually taking that step to say, no, hey, I see you, I notice you, and I appreciate you. And that makes your content go that much further, right? Because
Yeah,
now they're reading your content from a completely different perspective,
for
because you've
sure.
taken the time to get to know them. So it really amplifies your content game, and building those relationships. I think it's really powerful. And you obviously have mastered this. I mean, I know you probably don't think that would be the word you would use, but I would say you've mastered it. You give gratitude, you do the shout outs. Do you mind sharing about your Sunday shout outs, how that started?
Yeah, so these are interesting. Kind of going back to Twitter days, when I used to use Twitter a lot as a sports writer, there was this phenomenon of Follow Friday. And I don't know if it was like across Twitter or if it was in the sports world, but people would like say, okay, here's 10 accounts you should follow. It's Follow Friday, and just list out people's handles, and everybody would just follow each other. And it was a good way to build following back then, like around 2010ish or so. I don't know. I was just sitting there one Sunday, stuck, couldn't think of anything to write. And I kind of remember those Follow Fridays. I was like, I'm going to try this on LinkedIn. And so I just picked 8 people that were really valuable to me, like whose content I got a lot of value from, and just kind of created a Sunday shout out where I listed each of those 8 people, tagged them, but gave very specific reasons why. Like a lot of these, I think you just see people list like a list of names, like I'm grateful to these people, and they just tag everybody. Well, okay, that's cool. Tell me why. Like, why
Right.
should I really be interested in following them? And why should I want to interact? It blew me away, the response. I mean, people immediately dug in, like thanked me for the tag, then tagged other people in the comments, which is awesome. That's exactly what you want when you do these, because it just increases the overall interaction. It puts that in front of a lot of other people, and just gives everybody an opportunity to lift each other up. So I used to do these weekly, but anymore I'm so like in client work that I don't spend as much time necessarily on LinkedIn, just kind of engaging with content as I used to casually. It's more intentional, more tactical. So I'll do them like once every 2 or 3 weeks now. But they're really valuable to me because those people almost to a person are people I still interact with and I still talk to pretty often. So,
yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that might have been one of the first interactions you and I had. I might have made
yeah,
it to your
maybe.
Sunday shout out, I think. But again, it's about, for those of you listening, I hope what you're picking up here is that this is about going that extra step, right? Kris is a content writer. He can write content all day long. He ghostwrites content. But what he's trying to tell you and what you're sharing, if you're not picking up on it, or I hope that you are, is to take your content that next step. Do something to let people know, hey, I see you. Hey, I follow you. Hey, I appreciate you. Hey, let's get to know you. It's about the relationship building, which is what is amplifying his content and which is what has really allowed him to build his business so quickly. So it's really about just taking that extra step. It's not that scary. I know so many people are like, well, what do you say to somebody in a message? It's like, I don't, just have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
It's about taking that one little extra step. How much time does it take to throw up 8 names on Sunday about why they've impacted you that week, or what they've done for you, or why people should follow them? Like, it doesn't take a lot of time, but the reward and the benefit of it is long term. I mean, it may not be like an immediate reward, but it's, it could be, 6 months later, somebody, hey, Kris, I remember, don't you, they're watching you, they're seeing you, and it's about taking that next step forward. I absolutely love it. You, like I said, I think you have absolutely mastered the power of both content and finding that balance. So
thanks.
I hope everybody is, if you're, like I said, if you want examples, go follow Kris, like just follow him and take his lead, because it's incredible. So, all right, Kris, what is one tip, one immediate action that my listeners can take right now, implement immediately? I think you've given quite a few, but dive a little bit deeper into your favorite number one tip.
Yeah, I think the big fear that people have about getting started and creating content, and if you're going to do that as part of your personal brand, is, oh, I don't have anything to write. Why would anybody care about what I have to say? Then don't. Go comment. That's my biggest step, is
That's awesome.
Go look at other people's content and comment. Add to conversations, because there's this kind of cliche now going around on LinkedIn, but it's true, is comments are content. So if you go and you interact with other people, you leave comments, you add to conversations, people are going to become curious about you because of the value you're adding to those conversations. It doesn't have to be something you're creating on your own. So if you're not comfortable creating on your own yet, then don't. Like, go leave comments with other people. You'll get into that groove and your comfort level will increase and increase. My advice there, though, is keep those comments in a file somewhere, like start a Notion document or a Google Doc, and every time you comment on something, save those comments and go back and read what you commented, because those will start to spark ideas for you of content you can create. I have a Notion file a mile long of every comment I've ever left. And if I'm sitting there, I write in that writer's block, I go back and I look at it and I'm like, oh, there's an idea I could write on that. So yeah,
that is mind-blowing, that tip. I absolutely love it.
It's an easy way to get over writer's block.
Right? Yeah. Like, I would never think to do that, but how easy, like he's saying, like, go and comment. How much don't you set a timer, right, for your commenting and engaging? Yeah.
So I do 30 minutes every business day, and sometimes on Sundays for myself, and typically for my clients as well, at least 20 minutes. Where I set a timer for 30 minutes and all I do is comment. I'll put on something in the background, usually like some psytrance or something that's like in the background noise.
Yeah.
And we'll just hammer through a bunch of comments. I have my content teed up, ready to go. So as soon as that timer stops, I just go right to my content and posts. And the notion behind that is you're kind of priming the pump for LinkedIn. You're showing LinkedIn, okay, I'm engaging with all these other people, and there's some reciprocal kind of attention that comes back because of that. I'm willing to say that there's data behind it. Like, I don't have hard numbers, but I've done it. I did it for a stretch without, and there was a big difference.
Yeah.
So I encourage people to do it for at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes before you post.
Awesome. So his immediate action tip, if you're listening, I want you to turn, as soon as you turn this podcast off, I want you to go, I want you to set a timer, and I want you to comment. And then his other tip, if you missed it, was save those comments. Like, I don't know if anybody else has ever thought to do that. I have never thought to do that. I have never told a client to do that, but I think it's powerful. And actually on LinkedIn now, and you know what, I know many of you that listen to this podcast, you're not on LinkedIn. Many of you are probably on Instagram or Facebook, but all of these things work. work on all of these different
Yeah,
platforms.
oh,
You just
yeah.
have to find your own way to tweak it to that. But the reality is they all thrive on connection, content, and build relationships, right? So no matter what platform you're on, you can implement that. But one of the things that LinkedIn is doing in regards to that comment, sometimes now if you comment, it'll say, share this post, like start a conversation with this post. So it's basically telling you, like, take your comments and now share, you know, obviously you don't want to share it, but they're basically saying, like, you're putting great content out here, use it on your own, for your own content as well.
Sure.
So I love that. I love that idea, because think about how, I mean, other people are giving you, they're telling you, especially if you're commenting on your ideal client's problems, your pain points, struggles, right? Like they're telling you exactly what they're struggling with. So now you can put amazing content out there. Great tip. I absolutely love it. Okay, let's wrap this up. Sorry, Kris, didn't mean to cut you off. If you have any other last minute tips, you know, I like to keep them short and sweet, but if you have any other tips, please do. And tell everybody how they can find you, how they can get a hold of you, and how they can build a better relationship with you.
Yeah, for sure. So the easiest place to find me is definitely on LinkedIn. It's pretty much my home away from home. So yeah, just / Kris Hughes, KrisHughes. Check out the website, Zanate Ventures. So Zanate is Spanish for grackle. So that's where it comes from. Have you seen the grackles, like the kind of annoying blackbirds? You know, they're pretty scrappy and resilient down here in Central Texas. So I really identified with that. So that's where the name comes from. But it's ZANATE Ventures.com. And there's a good outline of my products and services there. I do a lot of done for you and collaborative ghostwriting, content strategy work. Also can do content batching and some other one-off type tasks. So yeah, I'd be happy to chat with anybody. If you're in that place where you know content's important, but you don't have time to work on it and you'd rather somebody else do it for you, that's my wheelhouse, and that's what I do.
Absolutely. I'm going to make sure I put all of your links in the show notes as well. And if I'm going to put your Calendly link too. So if you want to jump on a 30-minute chat with Kris, please do so. I highly encourage it. I mean, you never know where it's going to lead. And even if you're not necessarily in the boat for content creation right now, maybe somebody that you know will be, and just being able to have somebody, like he said, to refer and make those strategic introductions is amazing. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with me today. And we'll see you on LinkedIn for sure.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Michelle. Enjoyed it.
Thank you. Talk soon. Bye.
All right.